about with self-inquiry. Is there a time frame between realization of self in the body and its final flushing out of all of the mental energy?
Lot of time. In fact, the flow of the Prakriti is cause and effect. You have a lot of accumulated causes behind you in the past. Those causes will keep flowing and displaying their effects. They will keep on bearing fruits. So that will continue. You cannot wait for that. That may continue for an infinitely long time also, mind you. So don't wait for that to cease. Liberation is instantaneous.
I think the concept of having what liberation...
Concept of?
The concept I've taken as to what liberation is, and I've applied self-inquiry, and it's almost like I want the results
Immediately.
Without actually, and then that's seemingly what is...
If you are feverish, no self-inquiry would reduce the fever. If you are running a debt, or if you have the police chasing you, no self-inquiry will deter the police. No self-inquiry will pay your debts. All of these are burdens of the past, you will have to bear them. It is just that even when the police would be behind you, yet you would be a little bit at ease.
I feel like there's a lot of tension, a lot of restriction.
Lot of?
Restriction.
Here?
Here, it's almost like start, like you were saying, from self-inquiry, almost as I look out here, it's as if I recognise mentally that I need to step back, but
Okay.
I don't want to face.
Let's
myself.
make it a little easier, very easy. Stepping back does not mean actually doing something. The mind is ever eager to step forward. What does it mean to step forward? Step forward means trying to get the fruits of actions. So here you did the action and then you want to come ahead to catch its fruit. Stepping back only means not stepping forward. That is the meaning of stepping back. The mind is eager to step forward into time, to continue. Don't step forward. That is the meaning of stepping back.
I just need to relax. Some kind of... I want to see... It's almost like some kind of... so strange to explain. When it disappears. It's like I'm deliberately drawing a blank right now.
It would be uneasy for a while. A very, we don't have words for it, a very sweet uneasiness. Like in love. It happens in love. A sweet uneasiness.
The instrument, my body, is a literal instrument. And once that false center is no more, then don't know if this is what he's saying, but also it's my question. When the destination is reached, but the spontaneous action that arises from that destination, there may be some time before it expresses in a free-flowing harmony through the instrument. There may be some residual, some restriction.
Yeah, of course. Certainly when I'm practicing here.
Yes.
So the sound is melodious and free-flowing, spontaneity, playful, joyous.
But the very destination would also clear these little obstructions. If you remain firm at the destination, then these obstacles in the path of expression would be cleared by the destination itself. Just stay firm at the destination, do not try to clear the obstacles. Just know that yes, some obstacles are there. Don't try to do anything about them. The destination will take care of them.
And play with kittens.
And play with kittens, yes, of course. And it won't come very naturally to you if you have not been used to kittens. So it will appear a little awkward. Let it appear awkward. Let it appear awkward. It's always awkward, hugging for the first time. Is it not? If you have been somebody who is quite reserved and stiff, and then you open yourself to a hug, it is not quite smooth, is it?
Yeah.
You feel a certain oddness. I don't know, is it true that Germans are known for their stiffness within Europe? Is it true? No?
It's a stereotype.
It's a stereotype?
It's a stereotype.
You German?
Yeah.
You German.
No, obviously it's a stereotype. But is there some factualness to it, a little bit?
All stereotypes have at least
Some,
factuality to them.
yes.
The problem
At least we are not so much pretending. Some people can be so phony in being so expressive.
Yes, you are right. That's the other end of the duality, Expressing without your heart being in the expression. That's the other end of the duality.
They also have a reputation for being very efficient.
Yes, of course.
Efficient, right? Very efficient.
Of course.
German
In
efficiency.
India, they really admire German engineering.
If you type right like made in Germany, it's always.
Oh,
Especially
Made
Volkswagen
in-
nowadays.
no, not quite. But really, that in the field of engineering and manufacturing, at least, the made in Germany mark carries a lot of weight in India.
Would you say that this is hypocrisy again if you express yourself in a way your heart is not feeling in this moment? Yeah. So you should express yourself as you naturally and not kind of
No
artificial
question
way.
of should in that sense. I mean, is the expression different from the center that expresses?
How do you know?
You know when you apply a should. When you apply a should, then you know, then you are saying it doesn't matter how I am feeling. I must express it in a certain polished way. In the morning, you're walking down the street and somebody comes and says, wow, wonderful morning. And internally you are feeling it's a rotten morning. Why are you obliged to reciprocate?
a perfect example to this is something that I really like is when people ask you how are you doing, and actually you're not doing well. But you can't say that. The moment you say that I'm not doing well, I have that.
If you say you're not doing well, that is understood as asking for help.
But isn't that maybe a way, if you pretend to be happy, isn't that maybe also a way to like
Actually be happy.
overcome this, not to be happy, but to overcome this misery in some kind of way? Because if you always express your misery and that you feel miserable, you get like deeper
an
and deeper.
attempt to be happy is a sure shot validation of the misery. If I am attempting to be happy, am I not already accepting that I am miserable? Misery disappears when one goes close to the misery. Misery disappears in full frontal acknowledgement of the misery. If one hides the fact of misery, then misery is preserved. It is secured.
But how do you like how do you get it like this way and not the way that you dwell in this misery and get deeper and deeper inside because you say, oh, I'm so miserable?
Misery is not your nature. If you go deeper and deeper into it, very soon you will be bored.
Yeah, but it's also easy.
It is not easy. If you really allow yourself to be submerged in misery, you will be thrown out of misery. You will feel so suffocated that you will totally give it up. Misery continues when misery is suppressed.
But does that mean that you should get more and more miserable until you can't get even you can't handle it anymore and then it dissolves? And
here in India, when the husband dies, the wife is encouraged to cry more and more. And if she doesn't cry, then all attempts are made to make her cry. Because if she doesn't cry, then she will have a neurotic disorder. She must express the misery. It's not as if it applies only to women and wives. It applies to everybody. So when you are feeling sad, expose the sadness. Look at the very shape, size, form, contours of the sadness. When you have looked at sadness, when you have had enough of it, it will go away.
It would exhaust on its own.
It exhausts on its own.
it's better to look on it from a like kind of objective perspective than from the like the miserable.
When you say objective, who is the subject who will look at it? The subject himself is sad.
Yeah, I'm saying like not the subject should look at the subject, but the objective.
When you are saying that sadness is the object, who is the subject? The subject himself is sad.
True center.
Then it is witnessing. Then you don't need to do anything. Then let the crying happen.
Okay, and that's even better.
Then let the crying happen. The witness anyway has no need to block any action or indulge in any action for that matter.
Talking about like stiffness, and you said someone who's had a tendency of stiffness, if they come to their witnessing awareness, and you're suggesting to remain firm in that, and the stiffness will be cleared. But I was reading your biography last night on your website, and it was saying that you've been quite involved in the like theatre and acting, and so not also value in going into it, things like that. It means also to encourage that liberation from the stiffness.
Yes, but it's not as if I went into theatre to do something.
Not in your
about it.
case, but in someone's
Yes.
case.
You see, things like theatre, they anyway attract. They anyway attract. And if theatre doesn't attract you, maybe swimming does, maybe trekking does.
You were saying about Germany. Is it true with the reputation? And there's a very nice contrast, I think, between the Germans and the Italians. And both countries are quite close together. Not only Austria, but very few. And the Italians are very emotional, dramatic, expressive people. And Germans are more logical and serious and practical. Less, we can say, on the other end of the expressive spectrum. It's very probably a direct polarity.
I'm asking you, is any of that more true than the other?
Different aspects, different flavors of life, of a human being.
Which can be enjoyed only when none of them is taken seriously.
Not taken seriously.
Neither Scotland nor Rishikesh, neither Italy nor Germany.
Scottish people have a reputation for being dour, miserable.
Who?
Scottish people have a reputation for being, whatever what dour means, kind of miserable and happy. But I want something I don't.
Is that because of the weather or something?
Might be connected. Because also I heard that the North Germans are more like the Southern Germans, Bavarians, are much warmer people in a sense. And they're geographically closer to Italy and geographically closer to the sun.
And to the Mediterranean.
North is the cold.
I would agree.
I just got told by an Austrian. I don't know.
At the moment they have so much problems with refugees coming, the Bavarian people.
That's another thing.
The Saxons and Bavarians.
Before the refugees came, just a general characteristic of it.
I think it's just how they like their way of living, how it's perceived from different people differently. Like I don't know, the Northern Germans are mostly more like kind of. It seems maybe kind of harsh, but if you know that it's not meant that way, then it's the same warmth you get from them as from someone who is more obviously warm-hearted or loving.
And if you are looking at children, they are all the same.
Children.
Yeah, they are all the same. Scottish children, Indian children, German children.
Before the German or Scottish, the children. But I want to ask you, I saw a reference to Gurdjieff in one of your articles on the internet, or one of the transcribed talks. And I've studied a little bit of Gurdjieff, not much, but a little bit. And he gets the map of, in terms of functioning of an instrument, three centers: knowing, feeling, and whatever the third one is, physical, the vital body. And how we tend to have a predominance of functioning. So, and then there's the fourth consciousness beyond those. But in his work, he emphasized creating a harmonious development. He called the foundation for the harmonious development of man, and intentionally worked on simultaneously, recognizing consciousness, but simultaneously developing a harmonious balance. So different populations might have a predominance. Some might be very well developed in the head, like maybe the Germans, efficiency, logic, and the Italians are very much more in the emotions. It's a different center of functioning.
But why must you talk of nationality in this sense? Even the same person that which appears to be the same body, is operating from different centers in different situations at different times, is he not? So the method for that person has to be according to that situation and that time. It is not as if a person is overly emotional. The sentence must be completed. The person is overly emotional at this time in this situation. Some other situation, some other person. The person is a flow. The person is not a rigid
Right. So we're talking about people, not a generalized.
Yes, yes.
And maybe, I'm not so familiar, but the way that Gurdjieff worked with his people was to try to break their fixation of being...
By exposing it. By exposing it. In that sense, he was quite ruthless. If he would sense pent up anger within you, suppressed anger, he would irritate and frustrate you to the point where the anger would explode. It is necessary that it explodes so that you may acknowledge it. Otherwise, you would keep on saying, no, I am a very peaceful man. So that was done as a proof of the fact. Suppose you are a very moral man, then he would bring you to a point where you have to confront your morality. And he could do that only because he was not really concerned about having a whole army of followers. It's legendary how he would be very selective in choosing his people. Have you heard one of those stories? He would call them to one place and then go away to another, leaving instructions or hints behind that, to meet me you have to come that place, and that place would be some 200 miles away. And then when they would come there, he would not be found there either. So if a set of 100 would be approaching him initially, ultimately after all his tantrums and tricks, let's say just 5 would be left. Now these 5 would be burning to meet him, and now he would have the license to try all kinds of tricks with them without the apprehension that they may quit midway. Now they won't quit. They are the chosen ones.
Stories say that in his ashram he would at any point of time say stop. And people who were doing anything anywhere, they would have to stop. They literally have to pause. And they can resume back to their work only when he says relax. This he would do at any time, any day.
He was a master of encounters. Encounter it, face it. You would have heard that he banged his car deliberately. He deliberately ran his car into a tree, and he almost died in the experiment. He wanted to encounter what it means to suffer physical pain and trauma.
Seems a little extreme.
Maybe it was not totally deliberate. Who knows? Legends build over time.
Too much cognac that day.
I mean, quite possible.
At least it is a good marketing.
Those people who are running around the country chasing after him in some desperation,
It gets too
and
cold
that's
for
the
me.
expression of their delusion.
Thank you.
Huh?
It's the expression of their delusion that they're in such a desperation to be with this guy.
And even that is exposed. So when they would finally meet him, I can almost visualize him smiling at them, that now you see how desperate you are, now you must acknowledge the fact of your misery. Had you not been so miserable, you wouldn't have chased me with such determination.
The salesman has to provoke the sense of need in his potential customer.
Yes.
And then they're ready to buy.
In some sense, spirituality demands very arduous marketing. And you require really good salespersons here. That sounds crude, but yes. Because here you are selling something intangible, and you are selling something that the other fellow is not even prepared to believe he lacks. As you said, most people live in a false sense of happiness, expressing something which they don't have. Now how do you convince him that you don't really have it? He's saying, no, I'm alright, everything is okay with my life. First,
He needs to be confronted with an experience that demonstrates reality.
and that experience will not be comforting experience. By definition, that experience will be an unsettling experience. So he will not forgive you for it. He may even get violent.